Okay, let's do this. Look around you. Look at this room. Look at the chair where you are sitting. Is it comfortable? Yeah? You like the color? Why do you bring these clothes today? Well, why do you go to your coffee place? What's the app you use the most? What do you like it for? We believe that everything is created, everything has an intention, and you decide what to take, and someone has created. Someone has created that with an intention, sometimes with pure intention, sometimes with no knowing, because you are in a rush, you need to deliver a project, and you just take the fast decision. There are a lot of elements of objectivity and subjectivity on the Creation Act. I will say nature always wins. You can see here a couple of samples. Everything has been created. Digital things. We have airbag has been created here. We have through the history, like from Gutenberg, from the wheel, we have a lot of inventions. So you can see that everywhere around us, you just need to see, you just need to observe that things has been created, probably with a purpose. Okay. We believe that there is an act of intentionality. When you decide to do something as an artist, as a designer, as a creative, you put something of yourself there. Sometimes your decisions bring you to great design. We have here a sample of the tube on London. The abstraction of the space, giving the opportunity to humans to consume a very difficult content. Before in London, taxi drivers have to remember all the places, all the streets. Now we have Google Maps. Sometimes some decisions lead us to these are simple, funny, bad design things, but sometimes the consequences are not so funny. So when you create, you need to think, you need to ask the question, you need to ask the right questions to be able to create. We believe that every decision we take, you being an artist, a creative or a normal person, has an intention. That intention creates the future. That intention creates your own future and our collective future. So that's why for us it's so important to reflect. Everything we do and we create out there has an answer and has a meaning behind. So be careful with our future, because your decisions will affect us. Okay? So we've seen today, Alex has been talking about NFTs, blockchain, their ways in technology, life. We've seen the digital transformation on businesses. We have a chatbot wave, we have the dot-com wave. Now we have a big tsunami. There is the AI wave. Looks like tsunamis now, but this is not new. This has been here for many years. It's now that it's becoming, I would say, more mainstream, accessible to everyone. The thing that is important now, I will say for us, is the speed of change. Before, things happen slower. Now, it's so difficult to catch up with things. We are every day checking, and the amount of information we have, you will feel it for sure, is overwhelming. So we have tons and tons and tons of information and things happening. How do we catch up with these waves? We talk also, if you are interested, about people are asking, AI will take our jobs. As a designer, I want to lose my job. What is happening? We don't know. The future is good because we don't know. But there is this thing called singularity, technical singularity, where in a hypothetical future, the technological growth could affect us and impact us and could become uncontrollable, irreversible, resulting in not seeing changes, resulting on things that we cannot prevent or we cannot see right now. So, if you're interested in all of that, Murray Sanahan has a great book about this. I recommend it. Let's play a game, okay? We are seeing everyone, we talk about Midjourney, a lot of images. So, raise your hand if you think this is an image created by a machine. Please. 2, 3. Okay, 4. This is an image created with artificial intelligence. The quality of the images in the last 10 months has grown exponentially. We are going to show you later images from the last year and this year. You can see the light. It's funny. Another game. 4 images. Only one is created with AI. The other 3 are human. Okay. Raise your hand if you think the first image is created by a machine. 1 person, 2 people, 3. Second image. Okay. Third image. We see? Okay, okay. And the last one, I think we're gonna be okay. So it's fine, even we don't know, there is not a big, the image created by machine is the third one, the one that has very dark color. So this is a thread. If you have here a Hello, it's a Spanish creative into AI. He posted this, and not even the photographers could recognize. A couple of months ago, you could recognize an image that is fake, created with AI, because the hands tend to be very difficult to define. Now it's getting much better. Hello treat the audience here, because on the second image there is a weird perspective, and all people thought about that, but they were like, not right. The last one, a fine one. So with AI now we create new words. We can create whatever we have in our mind. It's accessible to everyone. As drafted, hopefully I pronounced it well, we are ONUT, and we are here to talk about many things. As you have listened, we have a bit of activities in our work. We live between waters. We design at day, we work with corporates, and we do at night a bit of a Batman and Robin type of thing. This is some of the companies we've been working through the years, 20 plus years, working on technology, on innovation. We work around the world, in Africa, in Australia, in Europe, small startups, huge corporates, any single industry. We call ourselves generalists. We go very broad, not deep. We like to experience the world. Today, we are talking about 3 things: human, machine, and creativity, and everything in between, because we have a very loose definition about what that is. For us, it's design with capital letter. For us, it's creative. Everyone can be creative. Some people invest more time than others. We create as humans. Every human, since we arrived to this world, has the need to express, to create, to tell stories. Storytelling is such an important thing. We live with histories. When a friend comes to you, tell you something, you are inspired by what they say. Stories keep us close. We want to tell stories sometimes as artists, they don't come through. Sometimes when you go to a gallery, you go inside Second piece, I don't understand that, it's just an image. Then you talk to the artist or to the creator, and you understand the word. You love the piece, you understand the emotion. So we think creativity is all about confidence. How do you get confidence? Creating a lot of things. There are no shortcuts to creativity. If you want to create, obviously, it's what Alex was covering in the morning. You can create an image, but to be a truly creator, you need to go and create and experience and investigate. Quiz machines is nothing new. We've been using machines forever. Maybe they were not like so automatic like now. Andy Clark talked about extended mind, how the brain lives outside the physical body, how we use artifacts to help us to think, to operate. Abacus, posits. We are not talking about digital, but a person like me that has very bad memory is always right. So this is my extended memory. You have the iPhone. 2004, everything changed. Everyone started looking. We get more connected. How many people cannot navigate in a city now without Google Maps? Have you tried to go to a place and say, I'm going to put my phone in my pocket? Maybe. I think we rely too much on technology. It's very helpful, but maybe you won't experience one day. Creativity and digital evolution. As humans, we came a long way creating. Digital is not so new. It's very new. It's from last century. You can see here the first images, the first computer-generated animation. You can see here the first movie created, Toy Story, like fully computer. On Monday, stay tuned. Apple is releasing new things. We don't know what is coming, but maybe something that is sharp. Maybe the glasses to see augmented reality everywhere. We have here, because we love women, we believe in powerful women, the first computer programmer, Ada Lovelace. We have a powerful women that has been creating coding, creating. To the question, who is an artist? Such a difficult question. I've been creating art for 20 years. I consider myself an artist. For 20 years I struggle with that answer. Every week I change my answer. Because I work between waters, we work between waters. When people ask me or apply for a job, they tell me, you are too artist, you are not business. When I go to a portfolio review in the Royal Watercolor Academy London, they tell me, you are too business oriented. And I'm like struggling to know what I am. I think we all have some kind of creative people. We are like, My definition of myself as a creative changes by the year, but I keep creating. We keep creating. Here, the AI art. You will see now a bit of how things are created at the moment. We have here 4 artists that we really like, from Jim Cohen, Memo Acton. When we say there is the big wave coming, when we say it's this year, Memo Acton was creating video to video of this kind of ways of creating 6 years ago. People think that it is from this year. But as we say, like the first programmers, mathematicians, coding, this is something that is old. I'm going to pass to Juan, so we're going to see now a bit of things of how things are created. Easy.
So hi everyone. I think in the spirit of the festival, Shapeshift, I'm going to show you some of the shifting paradigms that are happening with AI. So you can see here, and this is one that I really like. This one is basically from a YouTube group called Corridor Crew. It took only weeks to create an anime short film, which normally takes years. Because drawing every single frame and making sure the coloring is right, it takes a lot of human effort. So with AI tools, they were able to create the script, record themselves, train an AI, and get the actual short film in a matter of weeks, saving a lot of time. And they show it to real animators, and animators from Pixar from the 90s, and they say, I wish I had that in the 90s so I could be with my family instead of spending night and night working on the short films that we were doing in the 90s. And there's other things like more of fun, like you can take images and put it into motion, or you can even take videos of yourself and change completely the style. So there's a lot of things, so this is like a quick snapshot. I'm gonna go into the different shapes that you can shift with AI. Like for instance, everyone is aware of ChatGPT and using text. It's great. It's great as an assistant, so it can help you to learn more about anything or code or use it as your assistant to back-to-back ideas with them. But there's also other tools like Perplexity. It's like a Wikipedia, so imagine like you're able to talk with the human knowledge of the whole history. That's so cool. We couldn't have it before, and I think that's something that is opening up to new possibilities and new ways of thinking. And this is the most famous probably from all of the ones. So it's text to image, you have DALL-E, you have Midjourney, you have Stable Diffusion. I still remember the first image I saw about AI and creation of images with AI was someone saying Boris Johnson with good hair, and this is where it came out. Actually, it hasn't improved much, I think, but it was interesting. But you can see here, we were trying to see how AI will picture a healthy employee. That was last year. I will be very scared if I see this person in my office. And this is the evolution now. It's using the same technology 1 year, and look at how much detail, how much we have evolved in only 10 to 12 months. And also, what if we get like a group of employees? Because that's something that people try to test with AI. What are the limits? What if you have a group of people, like a healthy workplace, and it looks like an average office? And then on the right is a lot of broccoli, so it looks like AI thinks that broccoli is good if you want to be healthy. And going into more artistic, this is more like we try to replicate water using AI tools, and this is what came out. So the opportunities are endless. We're going to look at 3 specific areas of images. Alex was giving a brief overview what is a prompt, and this is all happening all across all the different AI models that you can use, but it's basically the art of talking with a computer. Similar to if you're an sculptor, you take the clay and try to get a shape out of it. So the prompt engineering is the art of taking the natural language and transforming into something the machine will output. And this is like one prompt that is a photo of a group of humans engaged in a creative endeavor. And this is like 3 different tools, how they portray. And you can see like how much difference they are. The detail that you have in the Midjourney and the high-end look, or this is a Stable Diffusion in the center, like it looks more like a more creative than what you have on DALL-E. And DALL-E looks more like an average picture you can take with your phone in a normal setup. If we go a bit deeper, all of these text-to-image models, they're trained on billions of images. I believe like 6 billion of images were used to train Stable Diffusion, which is one of the biggest image generators out there. And it's based on diffusion model. So diffusion model is an algorithm that is being trained on pictures with captions or what they really mean. And they try to add noise to minimize to noise that they can actually use to then reverse, so they can actually learn how to go back. And every time you want to generate an image, they will take random noise and try to use the same pattern they identified doing this process to come up with this. And you can see in the middle, like, basically how the process works. Also, because there's a lot of community happening around AI, there's a lot of people training models every day. And this is a phenomenon that is happening, especially on the less proprietary software, like with the Stability AI and Stable Diffusion. So people are using like 3 to 5 images to train AI so they can learn about a picture. So you see maybe these apps that you can create yourself into an avatar. That's basically what's behind. It's some technology like Dream Booth by Google that is actually open source. And actually it's helping people to be creative and to inspire how to use AI as a tool to create new worlds and new models. But we cover text to text and text to image, and text to code is another good one, because so far you need to go into engineering, have a career, and learn how to code, get into a job, and it's really hard to get into it. But now it's easier more than ever. You can ask ChatGPT, hey, I want to code an animated image for some creative coding that is actually making a video game that is bouncing balls around a planet. So actually, that thing on the top right is actually an image from Midjourney that someone fed into ChatGPT, and it actually created the code, and the code was helping this creator to actually build the game. So it's actually good for not only for getting the code, but it's also like if you can ask him, hey, what's wrong with this? He will teach you and he will explain the code. So it's actually being a companion for you to learning. So this is opening new ways for new people to use code also as their toolset. And this is like what we think is going to be the next frontier. So you can see these creepy videos about Will Smith eating spaghetti. And that was actually the prompt used, Will Smith eating spaghetti. Obviously, it's gonna be very thin because he's not eating anything on his mouth, but it's quite interesting. Like only 5 words, and the output is a video with movement. I mean, that's like you asked like 2 years ago, it was impossible to believe that it's gonna be at your fingertips. But also, there's more things like you wanna create a painting from Van Gogh, or you want to create a mountain view with a drone thing, you can nowadays. And there's tools like Runway and Kyber that are specialized on this, and this is like happening now. And in the audio space as well, like you can turn text into real speech. I mean, we have Google and Siri and all these assistants for many, many years, but now you're able to record yourself, and an AI can actually learn from your voice, and you can be cloned. So you can actually put whatever text in whatever, many, many languages. I think there's like 50 plus languages out there that are really were trained for AI, and it's possible today. So the sky's the limit actually, because you can even go to 3D. Like 3D, as Alex mentioned before, it's a long process to learn, similar to coding. You need to spend hours and hours learning very complex interfaces, spending many time waiting for rendering. But now you can simply say, I want a tulip in 3D, and some software that, for instance, OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT and DALL-E released recently, you can have it. Or even create textures for your projects that you're working on. But this was only tech, but with image, I mean, this is not something new. Like we've been using Photoshop for, I don't know, 25, 30 years. And we've been all constantly like removing unwanted objects from images, but now you can actually select and remove, or you can even create new things within. And we're gonna see like two, or actually three related examples of this. Like there's something called in-painting, which is basically a conservation process where it's taken from the traditional painting industry, where you actually restore the images or remove stuff that you don't want and clear out the materials. And this is actually something you can do with tools like Photoshop nowadays or DALL-E. Like you select with a mask what you want, and you can input, I want to change this face to another gender, or I want to put a mask on top of it, and the AI will give you that. And on the other side, we have outpainting, which is creating beyond the image. So you can actually see here, we have, there was a renovation happening for the Milkmaid by Vermeer last year. And they took, because they discovered different objects, and they used this as information. And I think this was OGB, because in France, Nestlé has the Milkmaid as their icon of their product. So they were actually using these new assets they found into the painting to ask the AI, can you add this, can you add this? So they were extending the scene. So instead of being just a picture of the milkmaid putting milk, now you have a complete masterpiece. And it was done only in 24 hours, but what they don't tell you, they had like 1,000 iterations of prompting, because everything looks really clean and polished with AI, but actually it requires a lot of tinkering. And this is like ControlNet, is a new capability that you have in Stable Diffusion, that you can input different data from images, like the pose, or you can make a sketch, and you can put a sketch of your drawing and ask Stable Diffusion, hey, I want to have a bird, or I want to have a woman dancing, and they can turn your sketch into what you are asking for. So this opens up to many, many creative possibilities within the AI, and it's enabling a lot of people to be more creative than before with new tools. And obviously there's even the ability to create moving images. So you can take an image with some text, and it will output you a video of what you're trying to imagine that you want to have. Or you can even take just a simple image and turn it into a video. So with tools like a runway, you're more than able to do that nowadays. And even imagine you can record yourself on the street, and you can ask AI to change the style to fit another image that you like, or you can actually take another video and it can morph two videos or even more into one. So imagine that everyone has a visual effects studio available nowadays. And this is more novel, so all of this has been on the space, but this is like based on research papers that are happening every week, basically, and everyone is blowing the minds of everyone. So now we're even able to change the expression of people, that you have an interface that can turn your smile into being serious, or you can change a car to have a different shape, a different form, a different color. And this is not commercial now, but actually it's gonna happen soon, and probably Adobe and Photoshop, they are into it. So I will expect like in less than a year, we're manipulating something like this. And just to close a little bit this session, like we're seeing like an input to shape into another output, but there are actually multiple inputs and multiple outputs that can be generated. And now there's even AI that can take a picture, a piece of audio, a piece of text, and it will give you a video, an audio, and a piece of text generated, all combining the different inputs it has. So it can create complete stories and complete journeys. Like the movie, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, it was using runway a lot, and they were experimenting. So the filming industry, they know that it's happening, and similar to the museums with NFTs, they know things are changing for them because it's gonna speed up their processes. And this is like a summary of all the different shape-shift mechanisms you have with AI. But I want to close up this section a little bit before handing over to Alex. So she's going to talk a bit more about the implications of using AI with something that is very close to me, which is the open source community. And this is what is triggering the evolution of AI. So it's not proprietary software from big companies. It's actually a group of people in their bedrooms trying to work with constraints so that they can actually outperform what teams and teams of large organizations are not able to do. They are scarce on resources, but they work together, they collaborate, and the power of the community is helping them to remove these challenges. And you can see, like Coca-Cola, for instance, they're using Stable Diffusion in this advert to generate all the art, probably because they can get away from the copyright, but also because they're exploring ways to optimize and innovate or how they can create. And Alex is going to talk now about some of the more ethical considerations of AI.
We are just pointing things here that they are close to our heart and things that we want to share with the world, so people have that in their minds. Bias and unconscious bias. So we are creatives. Unfortunately, particularly me, my logic and coding is not so good, so I code, but I have struggled a lot. So who is writing these algorithms? Who is writing this AI? Who has access to education to write this? So there are also some bias, conscious or unconscious. I did an MA on computational art in London, and we discussed a lot about context, and we discussed about there is no such a thing like clean data. Everything, we came back to the intentions. If I grew up in Spain and have access to my school, or my dad was a mathematician, probably my way of thinking is different from a person of when we work in Africa, or in a person who works in another country or has another situation. So I want for us to think about who is creating these algorithms and why it's important that we read, why it's important that even if we cannot code ourselves, we come into this thinking and conversation. Another thing that is important, so yes, you can do all these things. Midjourney owns the rights of the images. So if you want to use it for commercial purposes, probably you cannot use it because you don't have the rights. You have the idea, but who owns that rights? The machine or the company in this case. So think about regulations. Regulations tend to be always slow. Regulations tend to be, always a bit behind. So there is a big conversation at the moment about the threatening of the AI. Sam Altman, all these big people, OpenAI, and there are a lot of conversations. Last week there was a paper signed by 350 people on the space because they are worried, they want more regulations. This is a bit of the far west when we start in a not mature area, so at the moment it's exploding, everyone is doing things. So things to think about. Freedom of expression. Okay, so pinups is something that I'm very interested about. I wanted to do this fun game and build a pinup mail. I was working with my journey. I cannot use the word pinup. Okay, so what a lady in the 40s with a nice post, bathing. No, banned. Okay, we are building this cute website. I want to do a funny sticker. A chicken running without a head. That's a funny thing. No, it's dangerous, it's violence. You cannot design that. I'm just building a funny sticker. Madonna, I wanted to do something. I cannot train the algorithm with Madonna. I'm uploading photos I'm trying things. I mean, open source, like, you have more opportunities, but the huge amount of people is training these algorithms with mainstream things, or Madonna is also one. It's a great singer, I would say. Maybe, artists, musicians, creative people try to break through. Yeah? We don't, in general, harm people. We came with our thinking, we try to do things. So that's something that self-expression, What do we want to create? If I want to create something, can I? So think about that. How do we apply all this technology, all these things into our work? For us, it's all about learning ourselves new technologies as a part of our manifesto. We try to not repeat technology twice. So again, we go broad, we go deep. Number one, we will talk about 4 projects today, in 4 projects, and this is based on my personal experience. My family has a lot of cases of Alzheimer. I myself, yesterday, I arrived late to the conference because I lost my bag yesterday in a place. So I didn't have wallet or documentation. So I'm always like that. And that's why I'm always checking the notes, because my memory is very bad. So here, preparing to forget myself, all because my family history, I spent a year doing exercises on memory. We created an exhibition that has 3 main phases. One of them, these bubbles that you see connected, I tried to map all the people I met in my life, but sitting there. Every day after work, I sit with an spreadsheet and I start. When I was 3 years old, my school teacher was called, I don't remember, so I called someone. And I spent like that for a year. I teach myself to do 3 years to create this. So we created this type of website where you can navigate around 2,000 people that I could remember. Also trained with machine learning, TSLE, algorithms shared by Jim Cohen. All the images I have on digital, almost 18,000 images, and create images compositions with that. And the last piece, what we do normally is we experiment on the art and we bring that to work. And the opposite, we use processes like design thinking, methodologies to the art. So we try to merge both things. We create a survey that we send to hundreds of people, some friends, talking about memory. Things like, what's the first thing you can remember? If you are going to have Alzheimer and you need to choose 3 memories that you can keep for yourself, what are they? So with all that information, we create a wall, interactive, where you could play with that thing. So this is one of the projects and how we apply technology. And a bit of
And the next one.
Second one, here to help, machine human. I was in London, have a back problem, fall on the floor, call the ambulance, couldn't work, couldn't move, was scary. Okay, I didn't know how to go to the hospital, it was the first time there, I'm an expert there, so call a person like a machine. Hey, do you have insurance? Yes, so you need to call this number. So I called that number. Blah, 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 blah. It was consecutive calls, almost in 45 minutes. I was on the floor, we were on the floor, and people don't like machines. Sometimes machines itself. You see my accent, so I'm Spanish, the machines couldn't understand me. And when I talked to the people, they became the machines. It was, wow. 4 hours took the ambulance, and 4 hours took that. So we created these speeds where 2 computers interact autonomously. They talk to each other. It's not super fancy. You will see in a gallery, and it's like, boom, there are 2 computers. As an artist, we are trying to express our frustration for this behavior. So with technology, we try to express ourselves. Do you want to talk about voicing? Yeah.
Yeah. So basically it was quite funny because we were building the script, and at some point it felt like a Monty Python movie, because it was like asking a question and saying another question, and that's basically what happened in reality. So we were using protocol they use it for music to make the two machines to interact with each other, but in reality what happened is like the surrealness of the event made us think about how we could portray this into an installation. But yeah, I just want to share that.
Yeah. So the technology here is OSC technology, is for music, which that's why creative people do. Try to find shortcuts, trying to find ways to do it. If you don't have a technology that you use every day, try to find it somewhere, try to investigate. So trying to find different solutions to existing problems. And some heroes. So we participated in London many times with a feminist collective, and this was an invitation, and the topic of that exhibition, collective exhibition, was unsung heroes. So female heroes. Many artists took like Ada Lovelace, you know I like it, I like her, or an artist, or a musician, or many different famous women. We decided to create this piece for the women that nobody talks about them. In this case, my grandma. My granny has a family. All my family on that side is on the sea, sailors, so very humble people, and she raised all the family when she was alone. So what better thing to do to bring a normal person here and among all these amazing, crazy women. So we used pixel sorting technology to raster all the images. So we took photos of her and we, with code, moved the image and erase everything, move everything so she will stay on the focus. This we did with the code. NFTs. You see? We are also in NFTs. We wanted to try. So again, in our proposal to learn about technology, we never done that before. It's like all this hype, we want to understand what's that. So what's the better way to do things to immerse yourself into the topic? So we decided to create hundreds and hundreds of pieces of images. In this case, because our this project started the first day, the war of Ukraine and the invasion in Russia. So we were very frustrated. We were very frustrated about all this. We wanted to do something. So we were thinking, how can we bring optimism to the conversation? How, as artists, can we influence our friends and give a present? So we decided to think of what humble things that unite people. I would say food. Everyone loves food. We all love traveling. No matter the country, no matter the person, food unites people. So then we decided to took, I don't know, I can't remember, I need to check it. Many countries and 10 recipes, I think, or 8 recipes by country. We select all these images and we create an algorithm to generate the images itself. We love also Art Deco, so you can see this story that we mix everything because it's our life, how we experience artists. So we love Art Deco and architecture, and we mix the patterns of Art Deco with the food. So we created this and a collectible, 800 images, just for the fun of doing. We put it live and we said, if we sell something, this is all I'm gonna go to this ONG foundation in Ukraine. Some friend of us gave us a name and we said, we give it away. So we created with that purpose, for them to help and to send a message of optimism to the world. Pasquale, we are looking like that, down to our phones all the time. You cross the street, you cross with someone because you're looking at the phone. We wanted to break that pattern. We want to make people reflect with our pieces. So what about projecting on the top, going to the gallery, doing something that is not the normal screen you have? So people should go up, check everything. So we talk about four topics of technology, one of them like being ONUT digitalis, for instance, and we gave a positive and a negative message of that. So let's say, now you have Globo here, I think. They are like, bring you food, it's amazing, it's instantaneous, it's raining, you're at home. We did a positive topic in general, and a negative, because maybe the worker is not receiving the right wage, maybe the conditions are not, or I don't know. So we gave like positive and negative facts. We didn't tell the audience what to think. It's for the audience to decide. We just want to present the topics. With that, we break two things: the position, the focus. Technology can do that. With our decisions, we can help to they're intentional. And with our thinking, because we did that for learning ourselves, we can help others to think. The last one that you have here outside was also part of a 30 feminist artists in London also. We've been invited to create something. So violence is all around us. Nobody can escape from that, but this is focusing on women that we will say we suffer more. We decided to do 4 topics: violence prevention, doxing, hate speech, I can't remember the other, but we did that. And we create like this place. It's for you to sit. We want to break also that. We don't like when you go to a gallery, nobody speaks. Everyone is like in a church. I don't feel it to ask about that. This feels weird, this image I left. So for us, it's important that you sit there, you experience it. The first time we did it, we sit there, or the audience sit there, and people that didn't know each other start talking about the topic. That's what we wanted to do with this. We want to bring art to everyone. We want people not to experience this big sacred thing. Because art is in our hands. Has a goal, for me has a goal, like to change the world. We can use that to make this a better world. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about, we have a workshop here about how can we build all these things that Juan was presenting, text to image and things, so we have a couple of things. For that, to learn ourselves, we created this. Want to talk about that?
Yeah, so the AI wave was so fast that we were checking all the tools, putting on a spreadsheet, and it was taking so much time, and we had so much information, we thought we need to share it with the rest of the people, because not everyone is going to be every day checking on this. So we decided to make something with it. So we created this website, AI for Creatives. Basically, it's every different industry field, like from audio, text, video, and capturing all the tools that are happening. And every day is a release of 5 to 7 every day. And we're trying to test and see the ones that make more sense so we can share with other creatives. So it's for everyone to actually engage and use the tools. And we have a newsletter that we send every week with the ones that we really like. And we also share the news for what's happening. And we also have everything on real time on Twitter, so we can have tutorials, quotes that are inspiring, and more tools and more thoughtful and different threads that you can read on Twitter about the matter. So basically, we wanted to share with the community, because that way it can empower everyone to be creative as well.
What are we working at the moment? At the moment, we are working on this AI product. It's not a product. We don't know still what it is, but we want to build that. We started building it. We are prototyping it. We are using AI to try to create memories. So that memories from your childhood that you have, because we don't have digital records, that person that is not with you here anymore, and you remember. So we are exploring AI to try to bring these images to life. So this is what we are working at the moment. We expect in a couple of months to try to release something. This is not so arty, it's not a product, but we mix always everything. So the wave, and today we sing many rhythms. So what I want to say is like, now it's easier to go closer to technology. It's important to keep constantly adapting. Don't stay in a comfortable space. It's easy to go home, check Netflix, do nothing. It's more fun to do things, you know? When you have an idea, another idea comes to you. If you do nothing, you don't go to the gym, you don't want to go. You go every day, probably then you want to play paddle or swimming or something. So keep, we want to say, keep adapting, keep creating. That's all from us today. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, everyone.